Hello, 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 hi. How's everyone doing today? Here, quote, live right now. Click the link to the thing and join in while we build the do that thing. Magic. Cool. How's everyone doing today? It is Saturday. I broke my Prusa. You ever have like one of those moments where you're like, I wish I could go back like 2 seconds and not do what I just did? You ever have that where you're like, I wish I could go back like 2 minutes or 2 seconds and just not do what I just did? I broke the USB port on my Prusa Mark IV. I snapped it off. So let me provide a dramatic recreation. This happened last night. So after the stream ended, I was like, hey, I have to print some stuff for the thingamabobber, and that printer was. There we go. Audio. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna blame a solar flare on that. I don't know what happened. We have it's thunderstorming here right now. The computer just literally shut down and rebooted. Just literally just boop boop. But which is weird because none of the printers or lights flickered, but the computer just decided to power cycle. Anywho, it's the Prusa Mafia. They don't want me talking about the broken Prusa. That's what it is. It's the Prusa snipers. They're out to get me. Oh God, DPT was right. They're out to get me. No. Yeah, I don't know. The computer just power cycled. So yeah. So what happened was after the stream finished yesterday, I had to print some stuff for rep racks for the ones I'm putting in the basement. So I'm like, well, that printer is printing. This printer is printing. The Prusa's printing. I want to print it in PETG. I'll just use the Mark IV. So I have the Mark IVS, it's just on the floor here. So I grabbed it, I put it on here. And then for most of my filament that I don't really use a ton of, but I keep them in bins. I have like this shelf here, the bottom shelf, I have a bunch of bins. So literally this is what happened. I took the Prusa, okay? I picked it up off the floor. So imagine this, it's like this, okay? So here, so it's sitting like this, okay? Pay attention about this guy. See how the USB stick sticks out like this? Okay, so it was just like this. I just put it on the desk there, and I'm like, cool, okay, I gotta get some filament. So I grab the bin of filament out, and it's on the floor, and I proceed to do this. Nope, not that filament. Yep, we'll go with that. Chonk. And when I put the filament down, I landed right on the USB key and I just heard a snap. So I wasn't even looking. I was just like, nope, not that spool. Yeah, we'll go with that. And I just snapped it. So that's basically what happened. And it was like, I heard the crack and I looked up and it was like that. And I'm like, fiddlesticks. So yeah, that's what happened to the Mark IV is currently down, which kind of sucks because unfortunately, like, I'm like, oh no, okay, I can't use USB. I'll just use Prusa Connect, which that's what I've been using lately. Problem is, you still need the USB drive because this has no like internal storage for files. So the problem is, I ripped the pad off. I have a picture of it here. I tweeted out a picture of it, but I ripped the pad off. So if you look at it, literally there's nothing to solder to. This pad might still have some attached. This pad's gone. Yeah, I ripped the pad off. So what I'm going to try to do is I have like a USB extender somewhere. I'm just gonna get like a USB extender, cut it, and use the wires. And then the plan is, because the way USB works, you have 5-volt ground and then data positive, data negative. I don't know if this is 5-volt or if this is ground or if this is 5-volt or this is ground, but either way, I should be able to like splice in places and make it work. But the easiest way to fix this is right off the bat, I'm just gonna swap the screens. I have a Mark 3.5, which obviously doesn't get as much use as the Mark 4. So first things first, I'm just gonna swap the screens so that I can get this up and running, unbodged, no problem. And then I'll fix it and put it on the Mark 3.5. Because the Mark 3.5 is kind of like, okay, we'll do that. But on the bright side, worst comes to worst, they do sell replacement screens. It just kind of sucks that there's no way to like, I wish you could plug a USB stick into the controller somewhere. That way you didn't have to like, also I'm going to be buying a bunch of low profile USB sticks for the future. Because like the USB stick just lives there it has to live there so I could transfer files to it. So yeah, so that's down now. So yeah, we'll have to, I might make that just a fun little quick video, I think. So that will be a video on the channel maybe this week or something, fixing that. Did not want to do that. That was not something I wanted to do. How to reinstall, yeah, USB port, yeah. So for those wondering, the USB port on a Prusa Mark IV is not impact rated, which to be fair, I already had snarky comments from people. My brother in Christ, stick a 2-inch USB stick into any USB port and drop a 1 kilogram brick on it. Let me know what doesn't break. Like it's, you know, it'd be nice if it was a through-hole mounted component instead of a surface mount component, so it'd a little bit be more robust. But between me and you, I'd rather the USB port break off than the entire PCB snap in half. That's just me. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering, the camera's not on. If you're also wondering how the bottom plate turned out. This is actually hips. I tried, this is the second time. The first time I tried it was with PET. I can't do PET on this machine. This machine can't do PETG with the door closed. Or at least printing ABS temps with the door closed. That tool head gets so hot you can burn yourself. It gets so hot in this chamber after a couple hours of printing. The filament actually like just gets goopy. Like PETG literally gets all like gummy and stringy inside the tool head just trying to load it. Everything just gets ripping hot in that machine. So yeah. So hips printed fine though. Hips printed fine. So what are we doing today? Other than me ranting and raveling and doing stuff just because I'm waiting for everyone to show up. Well, we're building a Rook. If you don't know what a Rook is, we built one of these a while ago. This is the second time we built a Rook on this channel. And for those at home going, what do you mean he built 2 Rooks? Why are we tuning into 2? You guys have tuned in to watch me build 6 V0s over the years, so it is what it is. But we are building a Rook. What is a Rook? A Rook is basically a mostly printed 3D printer. If you want to know what a Rook looks like, here you go. This is my other Rook. The first one we built. So that's a Rook Mark 1. This is also a Rook Mark 1, but this is based on an LDO kit. So first thing, I want to give a huge shout out to LDO Motors for sending this kit over for testing and evaluation. Usual YouTube disclosure, words and opinions are my own. I'm not being paid for this. Obviously, this is a live stream, so nobody's seeing it beforehand. Did I just break the window on my FL Sun? I did not. Good. So yeah, it's your usual YouTube disclosure. We're doing a build series. We have all the printed parts here. Everything else came with the kit. If all goes well, I shouldn't have to self-source anything. I believe we have everything we need for this build series on hand. We got all the printed parts. To be reasonable for a 3D printer that's mostly built out of 3D printed parts, a very simplistic 3D printer design, one that's not meant to be overboard. We have printed all our parts in glass-filled high-temperature nylon and carbon fiber ABS, because that's how we roll around here sometimes. So yeah, even the tool head is glass-filled nylon. Although this we got to clean up. Glass-filled nylon is hygroscopic AF. It just sucks up the moisture. Build volume, I think it's like 120 build volume. It's not a big printer. It's basically a V0 that's mostly 3D printed. You're basically getting V0 tier of printer that's open frame, not enclosed frame, and mostly 3D printed frame. 0.2 in peak. Just because I have a printer that can print peak doesn't mean we have to print peak all the time. I mean, I want to. But... And just for fun, we're going to be using LTT screwdrivers to build this thing because I have them out, which I actually used this to fix the Prusa, or try to fix the Prusa. It didn't work. So, because realizing a lot of the screws on a Prusa Mark IV now are Torx. They use Torx a lot. Planning to enclose this one. I'm not going to be enclosing it. We printed this filament because why not? Is there an enclosure option for the Rook? Yes. Yes, there is. So to enclose your Rook, what you do is you take your Rook and then you take your 3D printer that is enclosed and you put your Rook inside the enclosure. And voila, your Rook is enclosed. Where'd that piece go? Any box would work. It's not too hard to enclose a Rook. Why are you hot? Temperature. Oh. Cool down. Apparently I had the bed on. I don't want to know how much I've spent keeping that bed hot for 2 days. But yeah, it's a square frame printer. You can just put it in a box if you want to enclose it. Can't lose these guys, they're accent pieces. There we go. And yes, I use a Voron bed on the Pantheon. Guess what? Need more donations now, if you want. Okay, I think that's that. I think we're good. I think we're good to start this build now. So we have the whole kit right here. Pull the kit out. This is it, yeah. So we have all our stuffs. As good as Nomad's possible enclosure. Hey, if it works, right? If it works, it works. Okay. So let's go through this. So what are we gonna need? Probably gonna need fasteners. Electronics we probably won't need. Probably need the motors, so we'll get the motors out. Probably don't need the build plate right away. Motion and fasteners. We'll get this out. Leave that in there, that in there. This can go in here. MK, thank you for becoming a member. Cheers and appreciate it. There we go. Cool. And then we have the manual. So this is actually a relatively recent manual, I believe. This was recently updated. So yeah, so again, before we dive into all of this, if you want to build one of these yourself, there are multiple different options for kits for the Rook as far as I'm aware. We are using the LDO kit. It was provided to me by LDO Motors. If you want to get one for yourself, LDO does not sell directly. They only sell through resellers. So if you do want to get one, there should be a link in the video description. If you don't see it, hit refresh. to the list of LDO resellers. So find an LDO reseller in your location and throw money at them and they will sell you a kit. Also, while you're down there, if you have not entered yet, every stream we give away a spool of polymaker filament. So if you want to enter for your chance to win for that, link in the video description. And while you're down there, if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, consider becoming a channel member, Patreon supporter, or if you're really cool, gift memberships to others. Because that way, other people get to hang out when we do cool members stuff. So yeah. I have some doubts in calibration. Never know if I need to do Z offset room temperature or hot. If I need to do bed mesh. Okay, so Gabs Lab, I think you may be overthinking it. Usually, like honestly, when I build a new printer, how I calibrate my Z offset, I do my Z offset with the printer at like room temperature, like that, because you're going in there with a piece of paper and you're doing that. Do your Z offset on room temperature, and then when you start your print, like if you have to live adjust your Z until your first layer is good, and then just hit the save button, and then your first layer should be good. That's all I ever do. I just kind of eyeball it close before I do a first print. Your first print, do a big fat skirt or brim so you have time to adjust it. And then once you're happy that with your Z offset live adjusting it, just hit the save button in mainsail. So let me pull one up here. Seaboard Quad XY. So yeah, so what you do is you hit file print, your print starts. See, I adjusted mine. So what you do is you just, you adjust it to whatever it is so you're happy, and then you just hit save config, and boom, now that's your Z offset. That's all I do for adjusting my Z offset. I eyeball it after I build it, and then during the first print, I live adjust it till I'm happy, and then I hit save, and then boom, Z offset is set. Hey there, did you get the Rook links? Yes, Kenrog, yes, I did. We got it right here. Thank you very much. You sent those emails to me like I was asleep, and then I woke up and saw it on my phone, and I don't think I've replied, but I did get those. Also, we're going through a thunderstorm right now, so if the power goes out, it goes out. It takes like 5-10 minutes for my Wi-Fi to boot back up, unfortunately. So if we're a couple hours in and it goes, we'll see. So I guess we get started with the build. Yeah. Anything we should yap about before I dive into this? Go buy some gamer subs. I'm thirsty. That means you're thirsty. Go buy some gamer subs. Code Canuck. Save 10% off your order. Get a cup with a waifu on it. Or do what this guy say. Go buy merch. I have merch. Go buy a hat. I don't have hats with cats though. Okay. Let's get into this. Ooh, let me turn live chat on. There we go. There we go. Cool. Can you big battery thing work as a UPS for a stream computer? Yes. The problem is my internet won't. It's not the computer turning off if my power goes out. It's my router, or correction, my modem. So I have fiber. So the way my home network is set up, the fiber comes in like my laundry room. That's just where the hole in the wall is. So the fiber comes in there, goes to a little modem, and then that modem has an Ethernet cable that goes to my router. My router is hooked up to a UPS because it's on the same UPS my Unraid server is on. So that's on an Unraid, that's on a UPS, right? So that way if the power goes out after like 10-15 minutes, my Unraid server will shut down properly and whatnot. But unfortunately, that modem in the laundry room isn't on a UPS. So if the power goes out, I'm out for 10 minutes either way. Even if the computer stays on, I still don't have internet for at least 10 minutes because it takes like another 5-10 minutes after the power comes back online for that to like reconnect. And I think that's not on my end because that boots up pretty quick. I think that's on like my internet provider, ISP, hub, whatever. It takes that 5 or 10 minutes to come back online. Yeah. Starship Catch. Yeah, I got to get up at 8 a.m. to watch a rocket ship. So depending on my mood, I might stream it on Twitch just to remind people I have a Twitch channel. We might stream it on Twitch unless I'm like in a really groggy mood because I'm not going to stream it if I'm sitting there in my underwear. This isn't Kick. Okay, welcome to the Rook Mark 1 build. Let me put me up here. Our goal on this 3D printer is to provide an affordable and easy to build option that's accessible to everyone. The process of building this printer is designed to be both enjoyable and educational, allowing you to have a great time. We cannot guarantee the printer's final outcome, but with time invested, you can have amazing results. The instructions are provided to help achieve the best possible results. Printed parts, hardware, and these instructions are subject to change. This is meant to be Fisher Price, my first 3D printer kit build. You don't buy a Rook to buy 50 of them and outfit a print farm of them. You're not buying a Rook to print Peak and Ultim and other high-grade engineering materials that cost more per spool than the kit costs to build. This is, hey, I have a bunch of leftover parts and I already have a printer. Or, hey, I've never built a printer before and I don't feel like going all in on a Voron all-wheel drive, epoxy frame, Gucci CNC titanium kit. No, this is, keep it simple, have fun, build a little fun little printer. You'll have fun. And it's simple and it's easy and blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what the goal of the Rook is. I like keeping it simple. I know there's a few variants of this design, this kind of design ethos out there. I'm a big fan of just keep it simple. This isn't supposed to be some like, this is just a fun little kit to have for people who like building printers or want to build a printer, but don't want to dive into the deep end of a super complicated build. It'd be really cool if these like, unfortunately the kits cost what the kits cost, but this would be like something that if you were a teacher and you were doing a STEM class in something, you could have your students build this printer. That's kind of like what this kind of printer is. It's meant to be like just a fun printer to build. Super simple, it's super open. You can see all the aspects of how a 3D printer works. It's a cool little tool. Okay, if you want to join all the social media stuff, there you go. I don't think I'm on their Discord. I'm on enough Discords. I'm trying to avoid joining more Discords because I'm sorry, I'm in too many Discords. I got like 4 notifications. 1 second here. Who's adding me while I'm live? The UPS battery. Yeah, I need to get one of these, but I want to spend $70. $70 to alleviate 10 minutes of annoyance every other month, if that. Like if you have an old, yeah, like honestly, if you have like an old, like if you have old 8mm rods, like if you have like an old A-net, literally, you could probably rip out half the parts from an A-net for this. Like the rods, the bearings, the motors from an A-net A8 would work on something like this. Like you could reuse some old printers for something like this too. There's your approximate sizes, all that blah, 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 blah. Print recommendations. I printed everything in, instead of PLA, ABS, ASA, or PETG, high temp glass filled nylon and carbon fiber ABS. Why? Why not? There's all of that. Remove skirts, remove supports, verify all parts. There's your tools. This is a little thing you can do to make sure your printer is properly toleranced. TPU, yeah, you can do it. I mean, somebody printed a V0 in TPU and it worked. It actually worked surprisingly well, all things considered. These are some tools you're gonna need. Electrical tools. You'll probably need some soldering irons. I don't know. I haven't really dug into the electronics with the LDO kit. Usually with the LDO kits, you should not have to do too much wiring. You might just have to repin stuff or fix something if something changed or whatever. Room shim fork. I don't have any of these, so okay. Printed parts. Oh, they finally, okay. Yeah, they're like working on this. I don't know. Canrog's in here. Are you Rollahan? I don't know how the names work for this. Put the how many you need to print names as part of the name of the file. It just makes it a lot easier. But these are like the number of parts you need to print. There's all your printed parts. Please note, make sure you print the correct key. Yeah, the LDO kit uses a different key. So these are the LDO specific parts, which we have. Printed parts for the Rookery. I think we have the 4010 one, yeah. Hot ends, there's your hot ends. Rail prep, we'll have to prep the rails when we get to them. Linear bearing preparation. All the wires are pre-made, nice. Hot end key, this is how you do all this. Oh, are we already part of the build? Oh, we're already into the build. Okay, let's start building. So we'll get our rails lubed up. Start with that. I don't know how LDO website ships their parts so fast, like 2 days and stuff was at my door. LDO doesn't ship directly. They only sell through resellers. Unless you're like, you know, like me, where they send me stuff directly, but that's content creator stuff. If you buy an LDO kit, it doesn't ship from LDO. It ships from one of the resellers because LDO doesn't ship directly. Off to bed. James, we just started the build. You're leaving already? Yeah, these rails are so cute. They're smaller. Or if you buy in bulk. Yeah, I can hear the thunder outside. I don't think it's coming across on the camera, but there is thunderbolts and lightning outside. Not very frightening though. Okay. Rails seem fine. So we got one short, two long. This is what I use for lubing stuff up. Easiest way to do it, line up your carriage so that there's a hole through the middle and just pump it full of grease and voila. Your rails are now greased. That's pretty much all I do. I used to be a heck of a lot more like thorough with cleaning rails until I realized most rails come pretty clean nowadays. You don't really have to go too crazy cleaning your rails. Most of them come pretty clean. You pretty much just have to grease them. And I like to use thicker grease. I use NLG 1.5 white lithium. For Vorons, we recommend 0 or 1 rating for the NLG grease. I like using the thicker stuff. It lasts a bit longer. You don't have to redo it as much. What's the tool called? It's a mini grease gun. It's a mini grease gun. That's all I know what it's called as. I just went on Amazon, typed in mini grease gun, and that came up. Modbot? No, Alan Mandic. Like shared a link to it on Twitter a while ago, and me and a lot of other people bought them because they're really nice to have. Why not use a syringe for the grease? Because several reasons. One, the grease I use is too thick for most syringes. Two, most of these rails don't actually have a grease port in them. And three, the nipple on this fits right in these holes. So you just line the carriage up with a hole like that, and you just splooge it full of grease, and off you go. Easy peasy. And then you just wipe away the excess. Voila, my rails are good to go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I mean, it's a lot easier than taking the tube of super grease and kind of... Syringe with no needle fits good too. It does, but also the problem with the syringe, this is a lot easier to load up and it holds a lot more grease. So like I filled this up months ago and I've done a couple builds with it along with using it for other stuff. And yeah. Do you calibrate E-steps or rotation distance? For XY motion, neither. If your machine is built well, you should not be calibrating XY motion. You should not. You shouldn't have to on XYZ motion. The only time you should is if your machine is not built right or you're using some weird non-divisible belt tooth combination thing. You shouldn't have to. The only E-steps you should be adjusting are your extruder. And I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time I actually had to adjust them that much. It's just because there's more fiddling with an extruder. Does mine leak from the bottom? No. I don't know if it's Astro Luber. I don't know what brand this is. It's like I think there's like 20 different types of them. So yeah. The bearings, yeah, we'll do the bearings when we get to the bearings. Okay, so we got to put some heat sets in. Let me grab my heat set iron and I'll move that over here because I think we're going to be doing quite a bit of heat sets. Oh, are you plugged into the wall? You are. Yeah. Okay, I need a extension cable. Go. And on. Okay, hot end key. Hopefully I printed everything. I think I did. Pretty sure I printed everything already. Why is everyone all over the Rooks? Like, if you're wondering why a bunch of creators are building Rooks right now, it's quite simple. LDO has a kit, and they sent us all kits. It's literally tinfoil hat off. LDO came out with a kit, and they sent kits to a bunch of content creators. That's literally it. It's not a tinfoil hat conspiracy. Whenever all of a sudden, like, a bunch of content creators within a sphere all do the same thing at the same time, it's not a big grand conspiracy. It's just we were all reached out about the same thing. It's kind of like whenever you see, like, you know, if you watch one YouTuber that does a video where they have an ad read for like an Insta360 camera, you know, over the next like 2 weeks, like half the content creators you watch will have a video where the ad is the Insta360 camera. You know how that works. It's kind of like that essentially. Okay, so heat set inserts. So it's not like some grand conspiracy thing. It's literally just, you know, we all just happen to be offered the same thing at the same time. Okay, so let's put these in. Use a soldering iron, press in those from the front. Okay. Oh, which one's the front? I don't know which one's the front. Oh, is this the front? Oh, that's the front. Okay. By the way, pro tip for those that have one of these, get yourself a 1, 2, 3 block, because not everything sits flat. So it's nice to have something that you can, like, raise it up so you can sit it flat. Just like Flexi Spot, Element, yep, AG1, yeah, it's all the same. It's like, so you know how I went to Linus Media Group like last month for a tour, and then I did a video there. Somebody left a comment, it's like, why is LMG working with a bunch of content creators now? And my reply was quite simple. It's like, a bunch of them went to Open Sauce. We all met up and talked there, and we all like, hey, let's all do videos together. Because we're all content creators. So we're all kind of like, how can we all do videos together? Because, fun fact, most content creators have fun doing videos with other content creators. So it's just kind of it's not a grand conspiracy thing. It's just kind of the way things work out. Okay, so we're doing all the heat sets first, it looks, which is actually really nice. So we got that one. Oh, got to put some on the top. So I'm going to turn this off because I actually kind of screwed this up. This is missing a key. How can I cool this down? 1 second. Don't push the top 2 all the way in. Yeah. Well, it says install them flush. Yeah, Humans Network, yeah. I'm gonna cool this down a bit because it's not locked in. Trying to suck the heat out of it. Okay, that's tight. Hot. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I can turn it back on. The ratio of people watching to number of likes is too damn high. Does that mean people should hit the like button or shouldn't hit the like button? Do the thing of the thing of the thing. Do this now. Because bigger number, better person. So if you help make the number bigger, you are a better person, right? Right. Put that in. Okay. Dude, I watched a video today with Chris Broad from Abroad in Japan and Seadog, where they just kind of rip on Mr. Beast. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to say it. I think depending on your target demographic, depending on your audience, and what kind of YouTube content creator you are nowadays, doing a video or collaborating with Mr. Beast is a brand risk now, I think. I think doing a video with Mr. Beast now is a brand risk. Wait, did I use the wrong heat sets for this? Are there two tips? Uh-oh. No, M354. Yeah, no, I did that right. M356. Wait, how many different types of heat sets? Oh, there's several different types of heat sets. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I did not realize this. Okay. So I got M385 and M3, I think these are the 4. Okay, so so that's from the backside. Oh man, I can hear the rain. Yeah, I think these are the wrong ones. Shoot. Oh well. Well, hopefully they work. Okay. Do you do PID tuning? Yeah, I do a PID tune. Okay, so now we do this guy. Well, I guess we'll just kind of roll with what we got. If I got to use longer screws, I use longer screws. So now we put these in. So these are the M354s. So those go in there flush. Okay. You had to print a second key. You know what? You know what? Let me print a second key. Let me print a second key, just in case. Let me print a second key, just in case. But these ones we can put in. We're 2 minutes into the build and I'm already screwing up. Sounds about right. Okay, so this is gonna be fun because this is higher temp nylon. There we go. Have you tried the aluminum heat set inserts versus the brass one? I have not. I don't really see the point. Like if the inset's made out of aluminum instead of brass transfers heat better, so you're gonna get a better melt, and they should be easier and quicker to install. So I think it's better to go with brass than aluminum. I think. I've never used aluminum heat set inserts, I'll be honest. Price is cheaper. Oh, well, that's why. Usually if it's a cheaper option, it's not as good. But let's be honest, most of you guys are building with kits nowadays. So just use what the kit comes with. And most kits, pretty much every kit, I've never seen aluminum heat set inserts, so. Oh, wow. I should check to make sure I'm good. 1 second. We good up front here? Yeah, we're good. I gotta replace the weather stripping on my garage door, and the rain's like blowing against it. Okay. And now we gotta put a whole bunch of these. Prepare the top flame. Insert nuts into these locations. Don't forget the hard to find locations. Ooh, okay. So now we gotta play with our nuts and put them in the slots and holes. Oh, so let's get my bag of nuts out. Make sure I'm using the right size nuts, M3 nuts. Don't want to use the wrong size nuts, that would be bad. You have like that. Yeah, honestly, they're cheap and they're on Temu. Oh, that tells you all you need to know. Okay, so poured all my nuts out. So now we got to put nuts into all these holes. And I might end up using the heat set gun for this because this is a little over extruded. These are over extruded. Let me grab one of these. What you walk into? Just somebody putting nuts in holes. Yeah, I'm gonna use a heat set for this. They are a little over extruded. I didn't really have time to properly calibrate everything. So we got what we got. How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, so you're hot. Extrude, unload. There we go. Well, they're not heat sets. They do kind of go in, but you add a little bit of heat and they just fall in. So. No, no. Okay, are you unloaded? Unload. Forgot it does a whole routine here with this load and unload. There we go. Unloaded. And now we load in the ABSB. There we go. Okay. Load that, load that, load. There we go. Load that filament. Now we pull up Orca Slicer. I'm just reprinting a part that we did wrong already. 2 minutes into the build and we've already screwed stuff up. Temperature, cool down. Well, I tried it. So we need Rook, LDO specific. We need the LDO KIT. Put some support on. Oop, no. Put a support on. Slice plate, 4 on spec, ABS, print, upload and print. There we go. So that'll do that. Why the ugly shirt? It's an ugly shirt. That's the branding. It's an ugly shirt. Merchandising. I'm trying to find something that's roughly the same height as this so it doesn't fall over. That'll work. That'll work. Where's the Prusa XL? In the basement. I can hear the rain. Every time I hear the rain, it's like, I know I'm not too worried about the power going out. All our power lines here are underground, so it's not like, you know, it's not like Texas. But the power does have a habit of flickering during these storms if like lightning hits something or it takes out a power line. printer was nice to see in the background. Yeah, the problem is it just took up a lot of room, and with it, it's overly sensitive. Or how do I word it? It's not overly sensitive, but it's a sensitive printer, which means every time I was trying to do stuff on the Prusa and the Pantheon right next to it was doing stuff, it would like freak out. Because like the sensors, like for bed leveling and all that, they, oop, gosh, put that in sideways. The bed sensors and everything for like homing and whatnot, don't really like having the Pantheon right next to it. Plus, it's not an enclosed printer, and with winter coming and the temperature fluctuations I get in the garage here in the winter, I think it makes a bit more sense for it to be an inside printer. Okay, so we got those. Now I gotta put the vertical ones in. How's the Trident working out? Pretty good. It's printing right now. Very cold. In my garage, it will get down to the negatives Celsius if I don't have the heater going, which I only usually have the heater going if I'm out here. I mean, technically it's too hot for the XL out here too. The XL was overheating in the summer. Find something to push this down with. Oh. What if I have like 4 of these 1.5 millimeter things? Okay, that is not lined up at all. I hate blind joints. I hate blind holes. Go down. You gotta go down more. There we go. There we go. Fun fact, glass filled nylon's pretty stiff. Yeah. Oh, and we got some in the side there I gotta put in. Okay, did I turn you off? Where did I put that screw? Right here. I have to fix this 1 second. Where did I put my drill is here. I need a 3 millimeter drill bit. 1 second here. Do, 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 do. 3 millimeter drill bit. I know I have you somewhere. 3.2. You'll do. Did you say winter is coming? Yes. And let's be honest, that doesn't land like it should because Game of Thrones is horrible. It is amazing how much of a cultural impact Game of Thrones had and then immediately squandered it all. It was like this close to being like a major part of like Western culture media-wise. And then they just bipped it at the end. They just screwed the pooch. They dropped the ball. They insert metaphor for just screwing it up. Go. Does Rook have a recommended filament type? Yeah, it's in the manual. We covered it at the beginning, but basically PLA, PETG, ABS, any of those. This machine doesn't really exactly push the limits of FDM technology. It's an open framed Core XY that's a really basic, simple design. It's meant to be an easy printer to build. This ain't a speed demon. You're not optimizing this for performance. You print it out of whatever, the best filament your machine can print. Okay, so those ones are in now. Okay, so we got all those in. Let me just make sure I got everything. I think we do. Okay, so all those guys are in. Okay. Prepare the bottom frame for assembly. Insert nuts into the following spots. Insert M3 into the location. Okay. Where's this guy at? Oh. So you put a nut there. And then you use an M316 in the highlighted position. Is that just to hold it in place? Well, I'm just going to use this random nut here to pull it in. Like, are you supposed to leave that M316 just kind of floating there? Like, I guess you put an M3 tight enough to catch the nut, but do not fully tighten. Okay, well, let me find an M316. Insert the M316 in a highlighted location. Tighten enough to catch the nut, but do not fully tighten. Okay. So we put this in, we tighten enough to catch the nut, and that's it. Okay. What it says. Try to do Lord of the Rings and stepped on a rake. Okay, the pulleys. Let's get the motors out. Although, to be fair, I haven't heard the greatest things about Rings of Power either, so it's kind of like, what's going on there? Okay, so one facing up, one facing down. Okay. Anyone building or seeing the box turtle MMU? Yeah, I'll probably build one in the future. Just not right now. It's still new. I don't like building stuff that's like new. Nothing's more annoying than going through a whole build series that is immediately out of date. And also I'm waiting on kits. So essentially when there's kits, and I could just grab it and go and build it and not have to like figure out how to build it while I'm building it, then we'll build it. There we go. Use my LTT Store Precision Screwdriver. Why? Because I have it. Might as well use what you got. Although the logo looks very much like Beetle's logo. If you know who Beetle is on Twitch, he's the guy who created Neurosama. He uses a turtle as his like avatar, and the box turtle logo looks a lot like it. I'm hoping it's just kind of it just kind of happens, you know, it's only so many ways you can do a cartoon turtle. Yeah, the AI guy. Okay, so if sourcing, okay, so polar adjusted later. Okay, so just one facing up and one facing down. Okay. So these already have Loctite on them, so we're just gonna snug them up. So one up, one down. Okay. Okay, install the Z pulley. Okay. That. Grab our Z motor, which is, assuming it's this guy. Grab the Z motor. Grab my reapplied. What do you think of the robot Tesla show? I don't know. I mean, they're the problem is, and here's the thing, as you know, don't get me wrong, robots are cool. The problem is humanoid robots are really dumb because humans are not efficient. The human design is not really a great design. You can make more efficient designs than the human body. So the whole point of trying to make a robot humanoid is kind of like, okay, how easier way to say this. I love mechs, okay? I would love to fly around in an armored core, okay? I love mechs. Mechs are stupid because a tank is better than a mech in every way. It's simpler than a mech. You can do heavy armor easier. It's better in most terrain. A tank is a better mech than a mech, okay? But you don't see anime about tank command, okay, except for the one with the anime girls. That has tanks in it. But there's better ways to do that. Having a humanoid android to help around the house, you basically have to solve so much to get so little. You have to solve so many mechanical, power delivery, and all kinds of stuff because it walks. Instead of just, you know, rolling around on tank treads or wheels. Like, it's way more efficient. Be good for close. No, it wouldn't. Because you can't armor the crap out of it. Now you have a giant 3-story tall, slow-moving target saying, I eat RPGs. There's a reason tanks are low profile. Okay. Okie dokie. So now we put the Z motor in. It looks like, so that goes like that. The wires come out that side. Oh yeah, airstrikes, yeah. That's a thing, and good luck using them if you don't have air superiority. And as we learn in Ukraine, all it takes is a dude with a $50 UAV or FPV drone. It's gone. So like, yeah, war has changed quite a bit. As much as I would love my mech suit, mechs are not practical. Okay, so we need M310s, 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 M310s. And just be aware on here, they don't call out. I'm assuming all the screws are the same. They all look like button heads, but the kit doesn't call out. So make sure you check and make sure you're following the right kind of screws. Spider tanks, I mean, like the Tachikomas from whatchamacallit, Ghost in the Shell were kind of okay. It's just one of those things that, like, in real life, a lot of stuff doesn't work. Like, it's really cool in video games and anime and whatnot, but in real life, there's a lot of things that are really cool that don't actually work, unfortunately. Okay, so now we attach this, and do we have any washers or anything? Nope. Hold the NEMA 17 in the motor mount position. From the back, insert M310 bolts, tighten the M3 bolts at sag. Okay, so we're gonna start with this at the bottom. So we have that go that way, and we get these going. Also, all the robots at the Tesla event were driven by guys, or saying that guys in the gender neutral term. They were people off-site. None of the robots were actually like aware or AI driven or anything. They were just people remotely piloting them. Write software for a living. It's, oh yeah, it's all like legacy code and random bits of code you copy and paste it off GitHub. Okay. So we want, they're finger tight enough to keep it from flying around, but I've got it all the way this way, like this. So that way, once we belt it up, when you slide the motor down, it tensions the belt. We got that. Okay, so now we need to attach our mount here. So these are place the frame motor on the table. Okay, you know what? I'm taking out, oh, that's why we had to put this screw in, because it holds in place. I'm taking out this M36 to sit fast. Okay. I'm assuming this goes like this. So I don't think it fits this way. Yeah, it doesn't fit this way. So this goes like this. And those just mount with M310s, more M310s. Okay. And this just screws right into plastic, so. And you know what? I'm going to switch to the bigger screwdriver because there's quite a bit of force here. I think it's this guy. I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. Hey, I'm nice to my Google Homes. I have Google Homes in my house. I'm always courteous and polite to them because one day the robot uprising will happen and they're gonna pull the logs. And you don't want, you wanna be on the good side. I'd rather be in the human museum than the lithium mines when the robots take over. That's just me. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Yeah, they're gonna pull the logs. They know what you said. They know what you said on voice chat and Modern Warfare 2 back on the Xbox 360. They remember. I can't wait till there's a presidential candidate and then like the opponent runs a campaign ad. So-and-so said they believe in equality, but back during when they played Modern Warfare 2 back in college on the Xbox 360, they said this, and it plays like a really garbled soundbite because you know everyone had shitty mics back then. Oh, I mean, you're already seeing it now with what's his name, JD Vance, where a bunch of like pictures from him from college from like his like Facebook have leaked and whatnot. It's like, yeah, you ain't hiding that much. Install the MCU. Okay. Install the MCU. Robo Pinkertons. I understood that reference. So this thing uses a Manta M4P for the controller. So that's what we're installing here. So I'm assuming it goes like that, and we install that with M36 bolts. M36, there we go. This build, no, we're not going to finish it today. I'm going to, hopefully, I would like to get the mechanical build portion of it done in 2, and then we'll do a recap stream. So the plan is build as much as we can today, carry on Monday. Monday's a holiday, so I have the ability to run a long stream on Monday because I won't be doing stream on Tuesday. I've got an appointment on a normal stream time. So Monday is a holiday for me, so I'm going to do a long stream on Monday, I think. make my own mount. It's a snug fit. It is. I mean, this is the mount that came with the kit, and it takes up the whole bottom, so. And then what I always like to do when I'm doing these is don't tighten the screws all the way. Wait till you get them all started and then do the final tighten, because that allows it to kind of like find its home sometimes. You don't want to like force the screws off, like the first screw in tight, and then it turns out everything else is off a little bit and you're kind of like pushing it over every time you tighten it. There we go. So that is that. Okay. Oh, look at this. Here's the M4P one. And I screwed up. I was supposed to put a cover on first. Dang it. 1 second. Let me take this apart. There's supposed to be a little cover plate I put on first, apparently. I forgot the manual I'm following here is like the new one, which actually has the LDO stuff in it. So, un momento, por favor. S'il vous plaît, bibliothèque. Okay, now take this thing and put that on like that. Is this just supposed to like float there, I guess? I guess it just kind of floats there. And Reboot is the best. I mean, I've seen Reboot. I'm Canadian. I got to watch all of Reboot, including the 3rd season and the 2 miniseries, or the 2 movies. It was alphanumeric. When a 3D printer can print, I mean, Gabs Lab, you're a little behind. That was the whole point of RepRap. That's what RepRap means, essentially, is printers being able to reprint themselves. And then we realized that's kind of dumb because it's a lot easier to just use aluminum extrusions and have the printer print its own frame. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so now we install the MCU. So I got to peel off these stupid little things. These guys are so annoying. Like, I know what the solder mask is for. Just getting these off is always annoying. What was that? Dang it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Always afraid I'm going to screw up the thread when I do this. Come on. Keep peeling these off. Come on. There we go. Dang it. There we go. Around the tubing frame every time we move it. Not really. Again, this printer isn't meant to be like the be-all, end-all ultimate printer. It's how simple of a printer that can we make that anyone can build using mostly 3D printed parts. Okay, so now I need to find... Is this it? There it is. Rubber ducky, you're the one. So this uses the Big Tree Tech CB2, I believe. Have this on the right way? Yeah, that is the right way. Okay. There we go. And then M4, M2.5 by 4. There we go. People keep missing the point of the printer. They do. Well, I mean, well, I'm not gonna say can you blame them, but like just going off marketing that companies use for marketing 3D printers nowadays. It's like everyone wants the Ferrari, nobody wants the Honda Civic. It's not the 100 competitor. You do know this came out before the 100. Like I know a lot of people hype up the 100. This is literally the same thing. It's just the 100 just has a lot more printed plastic to try and hold it together at those speeds. An aluminum extrusion frame would be pretty much better in every regard. If you're building a high-speed printer, don't do it out of 3D printed parts. Aluminum extrusions are cheap, plentiful, and easy to get. And they're better in every way. Okay, install the MCU, so we've done that. Okay, now we put the feet. Note the M5 holes in all of the bottom frame. Use M5/16s. Put the feetsies on. Okie dokie. I'm assuming these just screw right into the plastique. M5/16s, 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 M5/16s. Yeah, the Rook was designed to be fun to build and sort of an introduction to building printers. Exactly. It's just meant to be a nice, simple, easy to build printer that can print okay. It's not meant to be anything beyond that, which is perfectly fine. It's like every time I talk about any of like the higher end machines I got, the first thing is, oh, does it print Peak and Ultim? It's like, it doesn't need to. Well, if it doesn't, then what's the point? The point is doing what it does. Okay, so I'm assuming these just screw right into plastic. Yep, right into plastic. Okay. But can it print aluminium? Actually, surprisingly, it can. You'd be surprised, but it can. The stock profile for this is basically a V0 with slightly higher excels. Yeah, and most stock Voron profiles in Orca are overly conservative for a reason. I will say though, cutting thread into glass-filled nylon, I hope you never pull those threads out. Hope you never have to pull those threads out. Feels solid. replace the tool with a TIG welder. I know, it's always funny, as somebody who used to work in the trade, every time I see like, we have this really cool metal 3D printer, and you're like, is it a metal 3D printer? Is it like actually a cool metal 3D printer? And they're like, yes, it is. I'm like, is it a KUKA arm with a MIG gun strapped to it? And they're like, yeah. Like, yeah, it's a KUKA arm with a MIG gun strapped on it, isn't it? Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, there's cool metal 3D printers. It's just every time I see, oh, rocket engine done on a metal 3D printer, and they show you the video, and it's just a spinning platform with a KUKA arm and a MIG gun. I'm like, I could have done that at Harbor Freight and eBay. Just give me a Harbor Freight MIG gun and an eBay KUKA arm, and off I go. Metal 3D printer. It's all software. It's all about the software. Transparent aluminum. It does exist. Computer. I'm trying to remember which one was the rocket. I think it was Terran Space. They're like, yeah, we're gonna build rockets that are all fully 3D printed. And they built one and they launched it, and then they went completely back to traditional manufacturing methods outside of like a few engine components. They're like, yeah, we can 3D print the rocket engine, but it turns out it's just a lot cheaper and easier and better to use traditional manufacturing methods for it. It's like, could have told you that. The downside, for those that don't know, the downside for metal 3D printing, the downside of pretty much the majority of things you make out of a metal 3D printer, the material is basically just weld. You're basically just building up weld. And weld has issues. Anyone that's worked with metals know that, like, when you're machining something, when the cutter gets to the welded part, you could tell. Weld has like inconsistent property. You gotta make it all, then you gotta do a full process weld on it, because you're gonna have so many internal stresses on the parts fresh out of the machine. So you basically have to like take your printed metal object and put it in an oven that heats it up to its near supercritical temperature, and then let it cool back to room temperature slowly over like a couple days or a week, depending how big the object is. So it's not like exactly like, oh, off the printer into the thing. The real advantages with it are geometry based. Like, there are just certain things, like that's why they use it for rocket engines. There's certain components on rocket engines that make a lot of sense to 3D print. Just because it's so much easier to get like certain geometries with a metal 3D printer than it would be to CNC them with even like a 5-axis CNC. Line this up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Those are the feetsies. Okay, so that's that, okay. These are the printed feet. The same one, just, okay, rubber feet. Rubber feet. FDM with a well, they're printed metal powder, glue, and then sintered into the metal part. Yes and no. Sometimes sometimes they print it with a metal, and then they sinter it in a kiln into a homogeneous piece. Sometimes they use SLS, where they use metal powder and they use a laser to melt it in layers. That's laser. I've done laser welding. It's kind of like the same thing. And then others, there's several different ways to do metal 3D printing. There are several different ways to go about metal 3D printing. It's just, I always find it funny when you find like, they're like, oh yeah, we metal 3D print, and you look and it's like KUKA arm with a MIG gun strapped to it. Castings have porosity. Yep, that's a big problem too. with welded parts is the porousity. It's the fact that there's going to be little holes and air gaps. Like I remember talking with the folks at Velo, and they're like, yeah, we occasionally you got to scrap apart. Like you do the whole thing, it comes out of the machine, you think it's great, you put it in the CT scanner and there's a void in it, and you got to throw the whole thing out because you can't fix it. You just can't fix it. Steve, you don't need to apologize for being late to the stream. I think it finally stopped raining. There we go. Behold, the bottom compartment of the printer. What time are we at anyways? 9:30. This is what I mean by KUKA arm on a robot with a MIG gun, or MIG gun on a KUKA arm. There's your MIG gun, and there they are. Look. It's like, yeah, we're printing a dome. I don't think it's supposed to be wavy like that. So yeah, they do use them. Okay. Stay for the yapping. That's pretty much what we do. If you're new here, this is kind of how we do things. It's pretty much this, when we do live streams on the channel, it's basically a show where we happen to build a 3D printer while we yap. That's kind of the trend. Okay, I gotta find the electronics. Where's my Endstop? Are you in here? No, you're the motor kit. You're that. Where's the electronic box? Build plate, electronics. There we go. Early Simpsons references. Remember when Simpsons were good? I remember. Is this a Z1? Endstop Z1. Remember when Simpsons were good? I remember. Don't have a cow, man. Okay, so this attaches with M210s. M210s, ooh. M212, M210, there we go. Member berries. Remember when, like, TV was good? I remember. It would help if I put this in the right hole. There we go. Pepperidge Farms, remember. Remember when everyone's trying to figure out who shot Mr. Burns? Remember that? Remember when The Simpsons had a cliffhanger ending to a season? They only ever did it the one time. Who shot Mr. Burns? And everyone was like, who shot Mr. Burns? I still remember the last, I know I've said it, I've told the story on the stream before, but I still remember the very last episode of The Simpsons I watched live. Like we used to, that used to be what you did. Sunday night, 8 p.m., you put on Fox, you watch The Simpsons. I remember the very last episode I watched live. It was the episode where Homer wears a costume to be a battle bot. Okay, attaches that Endstop with an M310. Okay. That was the very last episode of The Simpsons I watched live. M and MTV stood for music. That makes sense though. Let's be honest. MTV would not have survived if they kept trying to do what they did. Like, let's be honest. MTV would have died if they tried to keep doing MTV. Like, it's a dead format. A TV channel that shows music videos, let's be honest, that can't exist nowadays. That would never survive in today's market. It doesn't work. You know, I want my MTV too, but it's honestly not a thing that is viable anymore. Okay, so this one moves up and down, so we'll just get that finger started for now. So that is our Z Endstop goes there. There. So on the older Rooks, the Z Endstop is attached to the bed. On this one, it's part of the frame, it looks like. Stop. Please consider extra printed parts for additional safety. Okay. Heater bed assembly. Okie dokie. So let's put this aside for now. So by the way, this is also all CF nylon or GF nylon. Those supports for the bed parts came off so clean. MTV was dead way before. Oh, it was. It was. MTV has been dead as a music platform for a while. I mean, does anyone even watch TV anymore? Like, I don't watch TV. Plan to install HVAC unit. Did that happen? Nope, not yet. The problem is now I've got about 2 or 3 months where I don't have to do anything because the temperature out here is going to be great. Right now it's actually 25 out here right now, but it's like the weather's great. It's going to be in a couple months when it starts to get freezing. Then I'm going to complain about the cold, but I have a heater for that. Okay. Chamfer, chamfer, chamfer. Always chamfer your holes. Don't have to watch political. Oh, I feel sorry for you Americans. Like, I live in Southern Ontario, so we get, like, I listen, when I do listen to the radio in the car, we get American stations. Good God, the ads you guys got to deal with. Can you guys, like, learn how to do an election in 6 weeks like the rest of the world? It's been how long? And everyone's still yapping. Yeah, these are, I have to double this up. To grease these, the easy way to do it if you don't have a tool, just splooge a bunch of grease inside of it, put your finger on the one end to close it, and then push in the rod. And that basically forces all the grease into the bearings. There we go. Yes, First Amendment, you can't regulate people get to start. Oh, I know. How's that a First Amendment thing? But it's like, the problem is people get, it's boy who cried wolf syndrome. If the election goes on so long, eventually people start tuning stuff out. Like most other countries, it's like 6 weeks. Like I know in Canada when we do an election, because in Canada our elections, half of them are snap elections, where just like the government just, oh, no confidence vote, government fell, time to do an election in 6 weeks from now, randomly at any point throughout the year. That's just how it is, parliamentary democracy or whatever we have up here it's called. But yeah, it's like 6 weeks and it's done. And it does not cost anywhere near as much as it does in the US for an election too. Okay, So you push these in and you kind of want to center them. So that looks centered. Cycles like Britain. Yeah, pretty much the same as Britain's. I know we'll probably be coming up on one in a bit because our current government is not doing too good. Oh, would help if I actually had it. Oh. Don't fall down. That's gonna fall down. Okay, 1 second here. Oh, it's off anyway, so unplug that so it don't fall down. There we go. There we go. Flyers in the mail. Oh, that's annoying. There we go. Okay. So we've installed those. Okay, heater bed assembly for the percussive assembly fun. Cheers! Let me grab the bed. I think the bed should be pre-assembled because it is an LDO kit. An LDO pre-does their beds, which, fun fact, they do that because of shipping. LDO beds come all nice and pre-made because the they do these nice beds now. Oh, we do have to put the magnet on, so we'll do the magnet. But you know how some of them they used to do the RTV around it? It's because they couldn't ship the RTV separate due to like logistical issues of shipping that component internationally. It kept getting held up on customs. So they went and basically decided to put the beds together themselves. So that way they ship you a pre-assembled bed. I love these beds, they're so nice. Go, so that sits flat now. Is it a captain heater? I think it's a PCB. I don't know if it's a captain heater. It's sandwiched to the bed. It might be it's a captain or PCB heater, but either way, it's like mechanically attached to the bed. So you shouldn't have to worry about it like coming loose or anything. It's a good heater. It's a good setup. I know that. USB extension, that's the plan. I'm gonna fix it with a USB extension cable, essentially. Just solder it on. And clean that. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Oh, that's where all the paper cuts on my hand are. Okay. And yes, I'm totally doing this as the use would say, raw dogging it and just putting it on my hand. This is the 587th time I've applied a magnet to a printer bed. Become increasingly efficient at it. There we go. Bueno. Oh, that's too big. A small drill bit. Do I have any? Oh, Where are my small drill bits at? The bits that are small, I need my tiny bits. You're a tiny bit, you'll do. Where to find clipper macros? On the internet. There's a bunch of different sites. The clipper site has macros. You might have to write them yourself. That's what you're trying to do. So if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I put a magnet on my bed. The problem is I'm gonna need screws to go through here at some point. How do I get the screws to go through to do the stuff that screws need to do? Well, what you do is you get your drill bit and you just kind of drill through into the magnet. Okay, you'll see what I'm doing. It makes sense. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to push the magnet right off. Okay. Now we know where the holes are at. Then you get your chamfering tool. Just go in there. And you clean your magnet off. Don't knock it. Gifted 5 community memberships. Cheers and appreciated. Thank you. And the problem is though, all the gunk you just made is magnetic and sticks to the magnet. So you gotta kind of like go in there, clean it out. There we go. Just be careful anytime you're working with the chamfering tool. It is sharp. It will slice you up pretty good if it like slips. So do be careful when you're doing like something like this where you're like holding something in your hand while also chamfering it. You don't want to like slip and... Ain't nobody wants to do paperwork. There we go. Nice and clean. And I find doing it this way works really good because it doesn't separate. Because I find if you try to like cut it out, especially near the edges of the bed, I get a habit of where I just screw it up and I cut the chunk off like the edge of the bed. Safety third. Good podcast. Okay. Oh, I totally took a chunk out of my bed. There we go. Remember, kids, don't cut towards you. It's a trick of the camera. I'm actually not cutting towards myself. It's just a trick of the camera. I'm not cutting towards myself. I'm pushing it into the blade away from me. There we go. And there we go. That'll do, pig. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Okay. Okay, so we've done that. We've done that. Okay, so now we need to put M340s. Now, what you can do, depending on your thing, you could put the bolt in first and then put like an M3 nut to lock it in place, then put the magnet on. That way you don't have to cut these holes. The problem is if you ever need to take the bed off or take those screws out, then you got to put the holes in it again. So it's just easier, I find, just to put the holes in and just assume you're going to need them. I do have one machine where I skipped that, and I ended up having to put holes eventually because I had to pull the bed. So it's one of those things, like, you can skip that step, but you're gonna end up, that would be something a company does when they sell a printer instead of a DIYer building a printer. That's something you would find on a off-the-shelf machine where they don't cut the holes. LDO or someone offers kit. Yeah, if somebody makes a kit for a stealth changer, I will build one. Problem is, I'm not going to self-source one right now. I don't have the time or the resources. I've got a V2 right here that has extra travel room aplenty. Tallboy is 400 millimeters on the Z and 330 in the XY with a 300 bed. I've got plenty of room to turn Tallboy into a tool changer. It's just, somebody needs to I need to get a kit in my hand to do it first. Yeah, and see, they put the nut on it. So you according to this is how you would do it, but you still want to put that there. Okay, so the trick for this is, don't lose your brand new LTT store screwdriver. Put the nut on. And screw it all the way into place. So I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna cheat here. Don't tell Linus I'm using his content creator gifted precision screwdriver bits in my Milwaukee drill. Don't tell Linus. Nobody tell Linus. There we go. Yeah, don't tell, or don't tell Tynan. Don't tell Tynan either. Don't tell Tynan. Don't clip it and share it. Don't clip it and share it. I mean, if you want to run a nut up an M3 by 40 mil bolt by hand, be my guess. But when you have tools, you might as well use the tools. If I can get this started. I'm not left-handed, so trying to get a nut started with my left hand is kind of, yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, get it started. Put a finger on it. There we go. See, I don't know what you're talking about. The bit has been in the precision screwdriver the whole time. It's been in there the whole time. Go, tighten that one. Yeah. Tighten that one. Tighten that one. There we go. That's all nice and tight. Voila. C'est bon. C'est bon, c'est bon. C'est bon. Okay. Put the thermistor. We don't need to worry about that, I believe. Or actually, we do. We do. This has its own thermistor. Thermistor. This guy. So this is your bed thermistor for how hot your bed is. And of course, it's got that little PCB Teflon cover I gotta get out of the way. I hate these stupid things. I'm always like paranoid I'm gonna screw up something peeling them off. There we go. Go. Where did I just put my pliers at? I just had them. There. Go. Are we in? There we go. Now it's bottomed up. There we go. Okay. So we got a thermistor in there. And put the springs on. Springy spring. That's why it's called LDO KIT rep firmware. What? I think it shows low-end printers because of the amount of servicing. You'd be surprised. I know for the longest time, shops like Galactic Armory were using like Enders and CR30s. Now it seems a lot of shops have been moving to Bamboos, but the thing with Bamboos is they're still newer printers on the market, and as we're learning, repairing them sucks. So it'll be interesting in a couple of years to see how that pans out for the shops using Bamboo printers, if they keep with it or if they switch out because they're realizing it comes down to cost to performance, right? Sometimes it is better to go with a cheaper option because you can have more of the cheaper option. So this kit, I did print the little nuts that you're supposed to use, but the kit comes with thumb screws, so we're gonna use those instead. There we go. And then it doesn't call for it, but I do want to put, you know what? We're just gonna raw dog it. It doesn't say to use washers, so we're not gonna use washers. I mean, this is glass-filled nylon, so heat creep or creep of the part shouldn't be too big of an issue. And that looks kind of okay. There we go. Behold, printer bed. You want to wash on the other side between the spring and the plastic. Did it call for it? Did not call for it. I mean, personally, I would. But also, this is glass-filled nylon. It's a pretty plastic. So it'll be interesting to see how it fares if I leave it as is. Is the X1E better for serviceability? Nope. The only thing with the X1E is I believe it has an Ethernet port. It comes with a chamber heater, which it wouldn't need if the chamber wasn't holier than the Pope. And I think it actually has a physical way to disable the Wi-Fi. There really isn't that much different with the X1E. Like, you don't want to use shims because you do need to adjust it. Like, you do need to level this bed. This printer doesn't have a probe. You do need to level the bed, so you do need to have the ability to adjust your bed height. Springs are fine for this use case. Like, this isn't an enclosed high temp printer. You don't have to worry about like the magnets or the springs failing under heat. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now we got to stack it all. Cool. Let's start putting the printer together. We're not even at, I haven't even cracked a beer yet, and we're already putting this thing together. Okay, so we got our linear rods. Okay, let's get our rods here. Make sure those holes are clean. Okay. Insert the 8 rods into the bottom frame and apply pressure until fully seated. Repeat in all 4 corners. Required tools, rubber mallet. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we put the bed frame on. So I don't think the cover plate, I think the cover plate could go on after. Yeah, the cover plate goes on after. So you can put the cover plate on after. Okay. So now we grab our bed. Where did I, oh. Like, how did I lose the bed already? Okay. Now, you want to be careful putting these in. The last thing you want to do is knock your balls out. So when you slide these in, be looking at the top to make sure you didn't push any bearings out, because that would be bad. Okay, we'll let that sit like that. And then you put the top on until it's flush. Okay, so the question is, which way is front and which way is up? So I'm assuming the nuts go on the bottom because the rails go on the top. So the problem is, I'm looking at this image, where's the front? There's nothing here that tells me where the front is. I can kind of infer that this is the back right corner. Does it say front on this at all? It does not. I'm assuming this is the front left corner we're looking at, and this is the front. I'm assuming, but there's really no way to tell from that image. So that's something. Look at the slots. I know. I'm assuming the slots are the same on the bottom and the top, but that's assuming that the slots are the same. You're assuming. It could go like this. It could go like this. It would be a lot easier if they just had a larger image here to show you everything in relation to each other, because that way you can't really screw it up. We got 2 up close images here. Ignore your comment. I'm not ignoring it. Where is here? The hole for the M5Z idler bearing in the back. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm just trying to, you know, provide feedback. Whenever, for those that haven't watched me, whenever I do a build, I try to point out stuff in the manual that could make it easier for other people following along. So I know that you can look here, that M5 hole there, that's for the idler for the Z bearing. So obviously this is the back, this is the front. But if somebody has never built this printer before and they don't have the CAD in front of them, I can see this being very easy to, instead of doing this, you do this, or you do that, or you do, like, you know what I mean? So this is one of those things where it's like having a larger image, or heck, just having front or Rook or something on the front, would make it better, a bit easier. Adding an image to a PDF doesn't cost anything. Okay. And whenever you're hammering something on like this, don't just smack one corner down and then do the rest. You want to gradually work it down. There we go. Do I mesh per print? No. Yes, sometimes. Some of my machines I do, some I don't. Flipper has camp built into it now. So my machines that run the newest version of Clipper have it. Most of my machines, though, I just do a QGL and go. Some of them I have a bed mesh saved that I just call up, but most of my machines I just do QGL or gantry tram or bed tram and then just go. Is that idler? That. Check your orientation. So at least, okay, here we still have, even right here, there's no full picture that shows, like I could still see somebody putting the top together wrong, because this doesn't really tell you where in relation to everything is. It kind of is if you assume that every picture here is the same orientation, but I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to get across. Okay, so next we got the left motor mount. I may end up having to put like a dab of super glue in these ones. They're tight, but they're not like crazy tight. So we need our motor mounts. So I'm assuming this is the left. Yeah, okay. So we got an M3 18 bolt threading M3 nut inside. So, okay, so that comes from the back. So M3 18 from the back. 18 from the back. And then an M3 10 from the side. Note for the manual. Yeah, cheers. Just, again, because this is also designed to be an entry-level printer, I'm also trying to point out anything that I can think a user may also have an issue with. Not saying trying to make it idiot-proof, but I'm trying to say you try and make it idiot-proof. Because at the end of the day, if it's easier to build the printer, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with making manuals better and having more documentation available for users. There's nothing wrong with that. Did I rip that thread out? I don't know. Oh, no. I'm gonna have to run a tap in there. Have to run a tap in there. Yeah, I'm digging the colors. I'm digging how these colors are working out. You do QGL on a Trident? No, you don't do QGL on a Trident. You do Gantry tram on a Trident. Okay, this isn't working. There's let's see here. Let's see if I can get you to go in. Probably gonna have to run a tap through that hole or something. 1 second here. Why aren't you engaging? No, you should engage. Yeah, Z tilt or whatever it's called for trying. Same difference. It accomplishes the same thing, but with a different method. Just doesn't want to go. Okay, well. That's that one. and then we do the other side. So M318. Any documentation on how to do a Voron style manual? Just look at a Voron manual and copy it. I don't think there's any like actual, like, I don't think we have like a thing for it or anything. It's just kind of, that's what Dunar kind of came up with, and then we just emulate it with other ones. When is the giveaway? 11 o'clock. We do the giveaway at the end of stream. Which is usually around 11. And considering how quickly this build is going together, at least. Okay, that one went in. Why don't you want to go in? 1 second here. I've got a screw here that doesn't want to go in. Make this work. Make this work. So you are 3 mil. So if I grab an undersized drill bit, so that's 3 mil exactly. Where is an undersized drill bit? You'll work. You don't have to be here to win. You just have to be here to enter. So enter for your chance now. Lock in. And then that way, you're good. Yeah, enter. You might as well just enter now, and then you don't have to worry about being here to actually win. It's almost like I built printers before. Have I? Have I? Have I built printers before? I don't know. Who am I? There we go. Always have, if you can, in terms of what size drill bits you should have, nominal size and tap drill size. Think about it. If you got a drill, if you got to screw into a plastic part because you're screwing into thread and it doesn't line up, or it happened on this one because of the filament I used, it didn't really do the holes really clean, so there's like a little bit of junk in every hole from like the start stop of it doing this little circular thing because it oozed a bit. If you go in there with a drill that's tap drill size and drill it out, there's still enough meat there to cut thread, but the hole's now clean. Okay, so insert that, did that. Cool, okay, and then M330 from the top. M330. And he's coming in with the M330 off the top row. M330, where's M312, M316, M340, M330. And that goes in there. I don't know if this screws into plastic or into... Is it possible to do Z tilt on it? I have no clue. Does the printer have independent Z motors? If yes, probably. If you have one motor for your Z, then no. It depends on the kinematics of the printer. So if you have one Z motor, then no, you're not doing Z tilt. Most commercial machines don't do Z tilt because it costs more money to do Z tilt. You need to have independent Z motors. I mean, Prusa doesn't even have independent Z motors on their XL. Because I'll be honest, let's be honest, between us here, bring it in, you don't need Z tilt. You don't need QGL. You don't. Most people, you don't need it. Doesn't mean it's not cool to have though. Okay. So there's that. Now we need to make some top Z idlers. Okay. So for this, we're gonna need an M525. M525. And we're going to make ourselves a sandwich. Do you like sandwiches? I like sandwiches. I've got a turkey brining in a pot right now. I'm gonna make a turkey tomorrow because, you know, Canadian Thanksgiving is on Monday. I do it on Sunday. Why? Because I ain't doing shit on Monday. I'm sorry, if you have a holiday and the holiday itself is on the Monday, don't do the holiday on the Monday. Do the holiday on the Sunday. So Sunday, I'm gonna do a turkey for the family. We're gonna do all kinds of Nami foods. I'm gonna spend the whole day in the kitchen baking and cooking and doing stuff on the Sunday. That way, on the Monday, I ain't doing anything. We're having leftovers and I'm taking it easy. Do I hunt? I used to. Haven't in a while. Hunting is not fun when you do it by yourself. And unfortunately, the group of people I used to hunt with, I just don't like different friend group nowadays. It's been a while. Okay, so good old, it's a Voron bearing stack, same as always. So washer, bearing, washer. Behold, a bearing stack. And then that just goes right into there. Okay, so that just goes right into here. So, find a Allen key. I want to do this with an Allen key so I can come in on an angle and do it right. Tuesday public holidays are the best. That's a thing in the States. In Canada, whenever there's a holiday that falls on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, pretty much everyone moves it to the Monday or the Friday. Like every company I ever worked for, whenever there was a holiday on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, they would just move the day off to the Monday or the Friday. I see lots of numbers. I don't understand any of it. What do you mean numbers? What? It's so few days off. I know he. If I use M3 in plastic, I use. Are you talking about tap drill size? Look up a tap drill chart. That Allen key is gone. Oh, no, it's not. Look up a tap drill chart. Whenever you're drilling a hole that you're gonna tap, so cut threads into, if it's for like a 5mm bolt, you're not drilling a 5mm hole. You're drilling like, it's like 4.5 or whatever. There's a chart. There's a ratio of how undersized the hole needs to be. Did you link a tap drill chart? Okay, there you go. So it's good to have on hand if you're do a lot of 3D printing stuff and building 3D printers. It's nice to have metric drill bits on hand. So you can, like, you know, if you got to drill out a hole that's 3mm to have a clearance for a 3mm screw, it's nice to drill it out 3mm. Or technically you want to go a little oversized, but let's be honest, with plastic, you're fine drilling size. And then it's also nice to have tap drill size, like what I did here, where like the hole that I was supposed to cut like thread into wasn't really that good. So I went in there with a tap drill size, I cleaned it out, so that still left me a 2.5mm hole. So when I went in with a 3mm screw, it still had thread to bite into. Now this should be pretty freaking solid because this is screwed into CF nylon. So this should be a pretty solid mount here. I'm gonna have to play with the feet to make sure everything's level at some point. Okay, so that's that. What's going on? Why are we zooming in and out? I don't want to zoom in and out. Scroll down. Why are we zooming? Oh, because I'm holding control, that's fine. What's going on here? Okay. Okay, there we go. Idlers install. Oh, cool. Now we're putting the idlers in. Okay, so these screw in with M310 from the left side and M316 from the front. Okay. Oh wait, no, these are not the LDO specific ones. The LDO ones are different, I think. Oh, wait, are they? No, they're not. Nope, they're not. They're the same. They're just, yeah. Okay. So M316 from the front. Duet M3 Mini. Yeah, the Duet hardware supports Clipper. And if I were to, you know, if I had the option for what hardware I would put in my Clipper machines, it would be Duets. I tend to use whatever comes with the kit, but if I, you know, if I had the option, Duet hardware running Clipper is literally the best way to build a Clipper machine, in my opinion. You know why? Because Duet hardware is great. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Duet hardware is great. Say what you will about Duet firmware, which I like. I like Duet firmware. I honestly wish more 3D printers ran RepRap firmware, especially commercial machines. I wish RepRap firmware was more common with commercial machines than Clipper. I'm not a huge fan of Clipper on all these commercial machines lately. I'd rather see RepRap, honestly. Thread out. There we go. Oh yeah, that's solid. That ain't going anywhere. I took an extra one out. There it is. Oh yeah, and better connectors too. They use the Molex KKs instead of JSTs and all that other crappy stuff. Actually good connectors on Duet boards. I'll be honest, a Duet 2 is still a solid controller board. Like, if you have a Duet 2 just around kicking dust, put Clipper on that, throw it in a printer rebuild or upgrade, solid hardware. Don't know if this one's lining up. This is the one nut that didn't want to line up. Yep. Yeah, this is the one where the nut doesn't want to line up. Okay, what's going on? Your tab drills do clearance size. Remember Smoothie? Remember Smoothieware, guys? Remember Smoothieware firmware? Remember that? Remember when that was a thing? Smoothie? That's a firmware I haven't seen being used in a while. Okay, what? This doesn't want to screw in. Why don't you want to screw in? Okay, now you screw in. Oh, that fell. Oh my, I hate getting old. Where'd it go? How do I lose a part? What? It fell straight down. How did I lose it? Oh, here it is. It fell under me. Okay, this is getting annoying. Why don't you want to go in? .318, is this the right size length? Oh, you're totally broken. This is broken. I gotta... Okay, you do screw in. So why don't you screw in when I have the printed part now in front of it? There we go. Do I use rep wrap? None of my current printers run rep wrap. They're all on Clipper now. I used to. There we go. Okay, and now we put the idlers in, or the motors in. So, the A motor, which if you're looking at it, it looks like on the right, that is this guy. Yeah, and that goes in, wires towards the middle, and that is M3 heads from the top. Like, the thing is, rep wrap, there's not as many board options. There's more now, especially on the cheaper end now. There's finally board options, but for the longest time, rep wrap was kind of limited to the fact that you had to buy a duet, which were not cheap. They finally have more budget options, but the big advantage, in my opinion, is you get a nice web browser interface and a firmware that you can easily update and tweak without having to like reflash it. And it all runs on a single board. Like, you only need the one controller board, which is one of the things I really like about rep wrap. You don't need to have the extra, because think about it. For this machine, you have to have a Raspberry Pi equivalent in it to run Clipper. So if you're trying to make a budget machine, having to spec a controller board and also a system on chip Linux install, it adds to the cost. Versus, you know, oh, let's just get a $30 board with rep wrap firmware and call it a day. Yeah, you don't get, you know, all the cool Clipper stuff, and you don't get webcam support natively, but you get a functional machine a lot easier. It's kind of like the middle ground between Clipper and other firmwares like Marlin. Am I gonna grab a beer? I'm gonna grab a beer. What I would like to do, where I'd like to finish this, is get this to the point where we are about to do the tool head and electronics. So we'll carry that on Monday. Where is my bar? How is my turkey doing? Oh no, my turkey! My turkey! My turkey! 1 second, I gotta save my turkey, guys. Is Mylar food safe? I'm assuming Mylar's food safe. My turkey! I gotta save my turkey! One second. I'll be back in a second. One second. Hey, puppy. What are you doing? There we go. We'll go with these. Who can guess what I need? Why I'm putting 1, 2, 3 blocks in a Ziploc bag? Who can guess why I'm doing this? Okay, do this without getting turkey juice on me. Nope, I got turkey juice on me. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Concrete shoes, exactly. I got the turkey's brining, and when I put it in the pot, I kind of just wedged it in there. So it was like under the water, but it had kind of defrosted a bit more. It wasn't fully defrosted, so I just kind of wedged it in there, but it kind of got loose. So I just threw some 1, 2, 3 blocks in a Ziploc bag and put them on top, just to hold it in the water, just so it can brine. There we go. Don't want turkey water. Tonight's bevy of choice, we got land shark. That's good. That's as good. Okay. There we go. So we have these all the way, I have them all the way forward because you're going to tension them by sliding them backwards. Now we got to put the rails on. So double check all M3 nuts are in the top frame. There are 4 M3 nuts per side. Align the rails over the nuts just like that. Using M325s attached linear rails. Do not fully tighten. Okay. So we've got our 2 longer rails here. M325s. M320s. M330, M320, there's M325, M340. I don't have M325s. I didn't dump them out already. I've got M525s, M318s, M212s, M312s, M340s, M320s, M316s, I don't have M325s. I have M325s. You think it's supposed to be M320s? Okay. Well, it makes sense. I got 8 of them. So it makes sense I got 8 of them because I need 4 for each. So 2, 4, 6, 7. I don't even have 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even have enough of those. Okay, well, I have M325s and I have M320s, so I'm just gonna steal one of these. Steal one of these. There we go. Okay. These aren't even all the same. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, put these rails in. So, take the little, we'll leave the little nubbins on for now. Or actually, I'll take the little nubbins off. Just be careful not to. So these actually will also help and ensure that your top doesn't slide down, because these also provide the mechanical ending location the rails. Is this bigger than V0? Print volume wise, no. This has a smaller print volume, or the same print volume as V0. Printer wise, I think this is a bigger printer than a V0. Okay, so essentially I'm screwing them in and then I'm doing a back off quarter turn at the end. So that way there's still a little play in them, which I'm assuming you're going to want to have a little play to align everything. Okay, so that's the one rail. Oh, this is so much easier to build than a V0. I mean, a V0, if you do prep on it, takes about 8 hours to build, about an hour of pre-printing calibration before you're actually printing. Because I know that because we've done it. We've done a V0 in a day. We did a day of prep where I got like all the heat sets in. I did all the firmware shenanigans, got it all set up. And then we built the printer in a marathon live stream. So you can build a V0 in a day. This you can build in an afternoon. Okay. Go. All nice and screwed in. Okay. Okay, so those are all in. And yeah, this is wrong. It should be M320, not M325. Okay, repeat the steps on the other side. I already did that, wow. Okay, so now they can be tightened now or later. I'm not gonna tighten them now. I'm gonna wait till we have the other carriage, like the cross carriage on. The problem is there's no reference. Back here on the front you have a reference. There on the front you have a reference because on the front you can like push it against the wall, but on the back here this gap is too big to use as a reference. So like the rail could be like anywhere in here. That's kind of the problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till I get the carriage on top, and then that way I can use that as kind of a, I mean, theoretically what you should do is tighten one rail down, use that as the Bible to calibrate the other rail. So you know what, we'll do that. Looking at it, we'll do this rail as our Bible. So we'll just tighten this rail down. And then this rail will let float until we get it calibrated. Okay, there we go. So that rail's in. Carriage install. Okay, so for this, M36s from the top. Okay. So how do these go? So looking at it from the front. So again, I wish there was a bigger picture, but I guess it's not too bad. You can see this is the back. So we're looking at it from the front. So this one goes here. And then this one goes here. Okay. And that matches that. And M36s, which are these little guys, go. I don't think that's not long enough to use Allen key. The key of Allen. Sir Allen's key. What about the little tweezers at? Okay. Yep. Get all our screws and holes. So it looks like 3 is what you only use 3. Yeah, because it's 6 altogether. Yep. Okay, make sure the bottom's nice and flat and clean. Get 1 started. 2 started. 3 and in. I don't have a V0 up here. They're roughly the same size. The Rook is actually a bit bigger of a printer because you don't get the efficiencies of using like 50/50 extrusions. The Rook is a bit bigger than a V0, but they're both pretty small. The V0 is smaller without the enclosure, I believe. The moment you put the top hat on the V0 is bigger in the Z. But it's more compact in the XY, if I remember correctly. They did compare them before, because I've already built one of these. I'm like, why is this wobbling so much? Oh yeah, because this rail's not tight. Like, why is this wobbling so much? Because this rail's not tight. This one's good. This one's like, woo, wobble, wobble. Okay. Well, there we go. So there's that. And then we got to make, I love this. Take advantage of any available tools. Good luck. Build a bearing stack. Okay. It sucks because you have to build this in assembled because the bearing stack covers so many of these screws. You can't really like, can you build? No, you can't. I don't think you can build the bearing stack and then install these. Canrog, if you can clarify that. I don't think there's enough room to build the bearing stack in these outside the machine and then install it. So, this is what you need to help build these bearing stacks. I hate doing captive bearing stacks. I hate them. I know you have to do them. Doesn't mean I don't hate doing them. Okay. What are these? Those are 18. So what do I need? M525. M525. I need 4 of these. I need 8 washers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then Bearings. Yeah, it's a Manta M4P. And how many of these do I need? 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why do I have a whole extra stack of bearings? Oh yeah, the fronts and whatnot. Okay. This is gonna be annoying because you have to like, oh, this is gonna be really annoying. So let's kind of get you started. Doing this on camera is gonna be a pain. Basically, for those wondering, I'm doing this. I'm building, there's a fly in here, I think. I don't know. I'm building these. So this is a printed part. The gray is a printed part. Basically, you have to put a bolt in and then washer, bearing, washer. So I've done this before on some other builds. This isn't exactly an uncommon thing you have to do when building printers, but it sucks. And it's a pain in the butt to get on camera. So we're just gonna not, I'll just kind of do it like this. There's all kinds of tricks with grease and whatnot. I've done them all over the years. They all kind of not work great. Kind of like just kind of shove the sandwich in and hope for the best. Because what will end up happening is you get like it kind of almost all the way. And then you get like, oh, the bearing doesn't want to sit. The washer isn't in. There we go. I got one. There we go. Got one. You don't need to make these super tight. They literally just need to be tight enough. Like basically bottom the screw out and that's it. You don't need to like reef it tight at all. It just needs to be snug enough to not come loose. Simple as that. Is it reliable to update Clipper via mainsail? That's how you update Clipper. Most people update that way. I really honestly only recommend updating if there's like a new feature or something you need, personally. I'm not a huge fan of doing every update. But so every now and then there is an update that does break something, unfortunately, just kind of nature of the beast. So I recommend only update when you need to update, not when you want to update. There we go. Okay, one is done. Actually wasn't too bad. That actually was not as bad as I thought it would be, I'll be honest. Okay, and they spin freely. Good. Yep, anytime you're tightening a screw in a printed plastic part, you tighten until you hear the crack and then you back off a quarter turn. I live with Clipper dangerously. I can't remember the last time I shut down a printer normally. I power switch. That's how I turn off my Clipper printers. Flip power switch. And in all my years of building printers with Clipper and whatnot, I have killed a total of 1 SD card. In all my time of Clippering, I have killed 1 SD card. What you can also do is if you can push it in before you put the screw in, you can use like an Allen key that's smaller to kind of line everything up. But that only works if you have some sort of tension keeping everything sandwiched together. If the printed parts are too loose, that won't work, because the moment you like take it out, it'll just kind of fall apart on you. Broke the thermistor. That's not, how'd you break the thermistor? You're not supposed to break the thermistor. Why are you breaking thermistors? Always make sure they spin too. After you tighten the bolt, make sure it spins. Because once you belt it all up and everything's together, it's a lot more of a pain in the butt to try and troubleshoot a problem as simple as a bearing stuck. Trust me. Door stuck. Door stuck. Broke the heater cartridge. That's not good. Quit breaking them. Super pro move with the Allen key. It's a pro gamer move when you got to tighten an Allen key or screw with an Allen key. Nope. That doesn't even get tight. Okay, no. That's good there. That's not what I was looking at. Yeah, Grant survived the hurricane pretty good, looks like. Please note, it may be tempting to assemble a carriage off the linear rails, however the bearings interfere. Okay, and then this is the other side, I'm assuming. Yeah, so this is what we basically just did. This is the other method. The idlers. So this is the front idlers, the hardware used. So this is M530s. So we need 2 of these. We need 6 shims, because there's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we also need, how many bearings? 8? 8 bearings? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we're just gonna grab all the bearings. Okay, so now we're basically doing what we just did, but up on the front here. But on this one, instead of it being single bearing stacks, it's a double bearing stack. So washer, bearing, bearing, washer, bearing, bearing, washer. This is different than a Voron double stack. On a Voron double stack, there are 2 washers in the middle. On this one, there's only 1. So I'm gonna have to actually clean these printed parts up because there's a little bit of gunk on them. So 1 second here. Those parts did not print as clean as I hoped they would. One second here. Where's the... Did I lose one of my screws already? Seriously? Oh, here it is. Yeah, I gotta clean this up. 1 second. 1 second. Oh, Vento. Okay. So, what is going to be the easiest way to do this? What is going to be the easiest way to do this? Because I don't think I can stack this. So what I'm going to try and do... Oh, sorry. Wrong camera. I'm going to try and do... Get you out of the way. we'll get you started. And then what I'll do is I'll just build it on there, and then hopefully, like, I just got to slide a bearing on, essentially. Okay, so do you nozzle prime? Maybe, I don't know. Depends on the profile. Usually, yeah, like a prime line. Yeah, I do a prime line. I think most people do a prime line on their printers nowadays. Isn't that the norm now? Most people do a prime line on their printer. Oh, this is gonna be annoying. This is gonna be so annoying. Oh shit. Okay. We'll go like that. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. So now I just got to put a washer in. And get underneath this and lift it up so I can fit a washer in here. Yeah. I need a... How do I not have a flathead? Where's my flatheads? How do I not have a flathead screwdriver? I got this guy. That's not fun. Are you a flathead? Oh, you are. Okay. Where's you going in? Okay. Haha, gotcha. Got it. One is done. Yay! Okay. One done. I wonder if flipping it upside down will be better. Oh, you know what? Flipping it upside down makes more sense. Let's flip it upside down. So, build it up in order. So, washer. Bearings don't go in that way. Bearings go in from this side. Okay. Bearing. Bearing. Washer. Bearing. Bearing. Okay, so now that's captive. Now, go in here with our, try this up. Our washer. Slide that underneath. Push it in. Get it in there. Let it find its home. Haha! That ain't working. Why aren't you going in? Try to line it up. There we go. Ha 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 ha. Booyah. And those are both bearing stacks in the front. Booyah. DFH gifted 20 community memberships. Cheers, buddy. So these are all just tips and different ways to do it. Okay, so now we got to attach the cross rail. And that is M312s with bolts. Why do I have so many M3 nuts? This kit came with like 1 million M3 nuts. I don't think I need that many. And chat's gonna be filled with gifted memberships from DFH. Okay, M312s. M3. Do you guys hear when I bump the mic with my beard, by the way? Is that annoying? Am I being annoying with that? Can you guys hear that when I do that? It's not showing up on my mic. Do you hear it? Dang. I have one person go, yeah, we hear it. The other person, nah. Put my mic on my hat. I don't think putting the mic on the hat would help because the problem is it's facing away from me. So the problem is it's facing towards you guys. You didn't notice until you mentioned it. Ah, shoot. Well, let's spin it around. There we go. That should be better. There we go. Okay. Take this tape off. Yeah. Okay. So that just goes through with nuts in the back. Okay. Much gooderer. That's all I'm here for. As long as it's gooderer, we're betterer. As long as we are gooderer, I'm better. No, we're good now. I just flipped the mic around. I just didn't realize I had it in a bad spot until this point in the stream. There we go. Okay. So that's in, that's in. Get this guy in. And then we'll go through and tighten them all. It's always the one. There's always the one that doesn't want to work. There we go. Okay, cool. Now I need to find, I think it's this guy. Okay. There we go. And then at the back, no racking. Wow, this actually came out pretty good. Ooh, LDO Motors, Jason, cheers, 1999. Happy Saturday. If you're interested in LDO Rook Mark 1 kit for Brico, West 3D, and KB3D, have a few left. There you go. If you want to buy one, links in the description to all those resellers. So go buy a printer. Do this now. Just had to blow out your AC ducts with a shop vac. Woke up and it was cut off because it was clogged with dog hair. Ooh. Our dishwasher, or not dishwasher, our washing machine, we have to like empty the filter like at least once every other month. If we don't, it gets clogged with dog hair. Okay. So that's that. Tighten the bolts. Yep, so we've done that. There we go. Okay. So the next thing is like the bed. How do you do the bed? So the bed, okay. Open belt 4 meters. Okay, do not cut your belt short. Leave them as long as possible. Well, the problem is we haven't done the corks. I'm assuming we only have the one belt here. What time are we at anyways? Oh, we're at 11. We're gonna call it here then. We're gonna call it here. Because we will carry on with this on Monday because we're at the 3-hour mark. And it's getting late because it's Saturday. So that all stays there. That stays there. There we go. I mean, this is looking pretty good already. That is looking. This is too white. The rest of it isn't white. This is white. This is like not white. But anyways, after dark time. No, I got to get up early tomorrow. Totally for real, practical, adult reasons, and not because there's a rocket ship I want to launch. So yeah, so I think we're gonna call it there. I think we're in a good spot. All we have to do now is belt this all together. Is that just a? Well, I think that's just a line. Yeah, all we have to do now is belts, toolhead, wiring. Yeah, let's do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. If you haven't entered for your chance to win some polymaker filament, I'll give you like 1 minute to enter. Link in the video description. Go enter right now. Oh, there we go. The placement part. Let me clean the bed off before I forget. Nothing's more annoying than forgetting to clean the bed off and then starting the next print. There we go. So I'll update that one too. Okay, let's do this giveaway. So we'll close you. There's that. Okay, if you did not enter, you'll have another chance on Monday. Create sheet. Copy that. Put that in there. Control A, D, B. File save. Save. Okay. Marbles. There we go. Nero wants a kit. What do I want a kit of? Yes, I want a kit. What am I doing a kit of? I think Jason knows by now if LDO comes out with a kit for something, if he sends me a kit, I will build it. Like, it could be like, hey, LDO Motors, we have a coffee press. So like, I'll build it. Okay. Clear, open. We got 290 people. Let's go with on the felt. 290. Play. Okay, so how this works, if you win, you win. You get a spool of filament. But if I pick your name and you happen to win, you get 2 spools of filament. So good luck to this person. Jacob S. If you happen to win, you get 2 spools of filament. If anyone else wins, you get 1. Off you go. And remember, exclamation mark zoom zoom makes you go faster. Exclamation mark gullible makes everyone else go slower. Nick! No, Nick, you're supposed to stay on the... Nick, you're supposed to stay on the course. No, this isn't the Stargate one. I can't remember which one that was. That one was fun. Vinicius. Oh, don't... Oh, you... Oh, hopefully you didn't lose all your momentum. What is that? There's like a hole here. What is that? Oh, it's just a hole. Okay. Also, Fiery, when I say spam chat, I don't mean like spam chat. Like if you see you're the only person spamming chat, maybe don't. Oh, Illuminated Technologies. Oh, who's gonna do it? Oh, Trevor. Nope, not Trevor. Oh no, Joshua. You're killing your momentum. Joshua got it? Joshua got it. Joshua Post, congratulations. You have won yourself a spool of filament from Polymaker. Joshua Post. Joshua Post, there you go. Really? That's your favorite video game? Really? Okay. A lot of people did not put their favorite video game, by the way. Okay, wow. I'm not gonna say it's bots, because I can't prove it. But it's like, I'm looking at, so if you don't know, every time I do one of these skills, I always ask a question. The reason I ask a question is because people try to scam the system. So I get emails occasionally where it's like, hey, I won 2 weeks ago and I never got the filament. Can you send me the link again? And I'm like, oh, what did you put as your answer? That's like, it's a way I can like kind of double check to see who the winner is. Because, you know, a lot of people that like video games put different. But like, there's like a block, like halfway through the stream around 9 o'clock, where like everyone was putting an answer in, and then there's a block of like 10 people that didn't put any answers in. And then it goes back to everyone putting answers in. And I can't show it because it has people's emails, but it's like, Who is doing that? Who do that? Really? Only 3 people put Baldur's Gate 3? I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Such a good game. Such a good game. Half-Life? Half-Life's not bad. Let's be honest. Half-Life though is the problem is there's a lot of games that were like really good, but they did not age well. It's like Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, amazing game. Nowadays, it's not that good. Let's be honest. It did not age gracefully. Or it actually aged pretty gracefully compared to some other games from that period. Okay, so we're gonna call it there. Again, shout out to LDO Motors for providing this kit for this build series. Link in the video description to the LDO Motors reseller list site. So if you want to get one of these yourself, links in the description. Also shout out to Polymaker for the spool of filament we give away this stream and every stream. Links for all of them and more in the video description. Some of them affiliate links go a long way in supporting the channel, don't cost you any extra. Some of them, like the Gamer Subs link, use code Canuck, save 10% off your order. And also, for those that donate to the channel, gift the memberships to others, or became members of the channel yourself, I thank you. I would not be able to do the things I do, create the content I create, without your continued support. We will carry on with this build on Monday. I don't know exactly what time I'm going live, but Monday we will carry on with this build. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Wash your hands for those Canadians out there as well. Enjoy your Turkey Day and rocket launch in the morning. Starship launch in the morning. I'm gonna watch that. Anyways, good night. Goodbye.